Have you ever sent an email to your project supervisor and got no response? Or worse, received a clear-cut response? Chances are that your email is giving the wrong first impression. And today I'm going to show you the real student emails, highlight the mistakes, and teach you exactly how to write professional emails that get attention and feedback almost every time. All right, my name is Ola, and you're welcome to this YouTube channel. So first, emails should have some very important content, and it's important that your email quality is good enough to attract their attention and also create a good perception, you understand, impression, the art of your supervisor. Supervisor receive many emails daily, and eventually they decide which one that gets their attention, which one they work on, which one they respond to. So professional communication builds credibility. You want to communicate credibly and not miscommunicate or be misunderstood. So your first impression influences your supervision relationship. I've experienced this. I know it, and surely it really works. Okay, problem number one is inappropriate salutation. For instance, a, a bad example within the African culture is going straight and saying dear blah blah blah. It's a Western culture, it is okay in Western culture, but in African culture, title is allowed. I personally still accept it. I accept it. And if you want to communicate with other colleagues, particularly when they are senior colleagues and they are very cultural, you need to ensure that you don't miss out their title. So, first, this appears informal. It is a bad example because it appears informal. So, I hope you are doing well. So, dear Olascom, I hope you are doing well. This feels like you're communicating with your friends, and it's not the best for you. So, you need to be sure that you don't communicate this way. So, issues is that it appears informal. First name is informal. You have to use the last name of the author. So this is inconsistent and should be avoided. Two is yeah, I mentioned correct salutation. It should be then using dear doctor this, dear doctor that. I hope you're well. So always use the title and add the surname, which is the last name in some context. So problem number two is a weak subject line. Now this is the first thing anyone sees when you send an email. So the subject line should not be vague. So problem project submission. You just write project submission. There are several project submission and you don't want to be misunderstood. Or you say my project work. And it's the first time you're communicating. You need to be very, very clear. And there are some instances where students even send no subjects. They type no subject, so it will show no subjects. This is very, very bad, and it is a problem. So the correct way to do this is to put it clearly. Submission of chapter 1 to 3, if you're submitting chapter, add your name and your matric number. So the subject line must include what is being submitted, your full name or matric number, because that's your identifier, or just your what is being submitted and then your matric number, but at least these three. And then the third problem I want to talk about is bad or missing identification, bad a no well written identification. Someone wrote, I am one of your students you're supervising. The issue here is that there's no name, there's no matric number, no department. It's strange. And even looking at the attachment, there was no attachment. And it was the second email where I found attachment, but even yet in the attachment, there wasn't name, there wasn't any personally identifying information. You're not submitting for peer review, you're submitting to your supervisor to review. So you need to ensure that you are not missing out important details. And then the next thing I want to talk about is correct identification of structure. Well, you go with your name first. My name is blah blah blah, which is very important, and then you can mention your level and then your department, and never assume that your lecturers remembers you. And in this instance, why I'm actually doing this video is that some supervisors has been allocated to me, and they were transferred from somebody who has gone on some postdoctoral leave. And I don't know these people from Madam, and you're just communicating with me, and you haven't introduced yourself. I don't know you. It's difficult to connect with that. So problem number 4 is grammar and structure. Grammar and structure errors. So yeah, you have to ensure that things are written correctly. Again, you don't want to make a bad impression. Your plurals, your tenses should be correct, and then ensure that you have formal language in place always. So you saying below is my project's chapter 1 to 3. That doesn't sound good. So you can say, please find attached chapter 1 to 3 of my project for your review. So always proofread, always read. Don't be in a hurry to submit, because you're going to create an impression and your image might be dented. I'm not judgmental, so I tend to give second chances. So your email should reflect your academic seriousness. So when you write the proper standard email, a clear cut email, it sort of, create a better impression about you, and it shows your seriousness. And if you're actually educated, if you are in 400 level and you can write an email, that's a big problem. It's a flag, it's a red flag. So because you're being prepared for the industry, one will wonder how you manage professional communications in the industry, because if you're as a news broadcaster, journalist, PR person, you'll be doing a lot of emailing. So you need to get it right before you get out there. So problem number 5 is incomplete emails. Some people just say blah blah blah, attach this, or they don't even salute. They just send emails without confirming whether it is complete, if the attachments are there, if there is any closing statement, if there is a clear-cut mention of why the purpose of the submission or introduction. So you need to ensure that your email have an intro, body, and then the closing statement. So the proper and correct email structure should be salutation, clear identification. 3 is a clear submission statement, what you're submitting, and then the project title should be clearly stated, and then your professional closing to show respect and that you know what you're doing. So capitalization problem is yet another thing, and people don't know when to capitalize, when not to. So avoid shouting. So when you write all in all caps, it's like you're shouting. It's a bad example. So avoid shouting in academic writing. Use sentence case or title case properly, and be intentional about it. So model academic email template will be like this: the subject, which is what you can see up here with this is the subject line, and then after that you go to your dear this, dear that, and then your what are you submitting, which is your state, your purpose of writing the email in the first place, and then if you want to put your project title always, and then if you want a feedback, you can make a statement like this, and then you'll give a closing, which is kind regards, and then your name. You can even arrange this well by having a replicable or a usable template. So there are 5 questions that every email must answer. They are: who are you? Why are you writing? What are you submitting? What do you expect? And how should the file be identified? Yes, these are very important things you should pay attention to. Now, this is a model template of I've removed all of the identifying details of the student who sent this, and now so you have the subject line there, and you can see that it is clearly stated here, and you have a clear subject line of submission of chapter blah blah blah, full name and matric number. That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like. Right, the clear subject line, and then you should have your clear-cut name of the person who you're submitting to. Dear Mr. That, dear Dr. This, dear Professor That, and then good morning, which is a greeting. So you can use good day if you don't know when they'll be ready and what time. So and then your introduction, and then you have why again. You see the structure, and then what you expect, and then appreciating their time, closing, and then your name. So you need to do all of these things in order for you to actually get a very good attention of your supervisor. So this helps supervisor filter email for response later. So you need to be very, very careful in doing this. So immediately tell them what it is about, make it clear. So the subject line is very important. The second thing I would say is the salutation. You see that here, and then use salutation, their name, their title plus their first name. Their title plus their first name. Their title plus their first name. So you have their, and then their title, and then their first name. You see that? So ensure this is clear. Salutation, very important. As title and then their first name. So and once you've done that, you will then go to your introduction, the purpose, confirm who the sender is, who you are, and the purpose of your sending it. You state the level, your department, and all of those things that you need to state. Yes. So having done that, you also need to make your submission statement. It's here, what is being submitted. Make it clear, don't assume they know. You know, if it says including several files, mention the chapter has been submitted, the names of the file, and ensure that you attach them. And then you need to also, request for an action. What do you expect in response of your of you communicating to them? What do you expect? Politely indicated your expected response. It's okay to request that because you just sent something. Why are you sending a signal that the students you are open to feedback and more. Keep your tone professional while doing this. And then close. Appreciate them. Yes, they may be doing this even outside of working hours. And close your statement with your name. Be polite and be professional. And that's important. And then you can then move ahead to what, you know, to sort of, send your email, confirm your attachment, and send it. So that's what it is all about. And when you follow the structure, you follow the structure of clearly writing your subject, putting in your title, your name, which is another very important thing, your matric number. Then you can then go ahead, attach and state what you have attached, and then thank them. And then regards and then your name. These are very important. This is not always important, except if you need an action taken specific. Yeah. So and then that will be all. So my final advice is that your email is part of your academic training. You need to be able to do it right, do it correctly. Now for you to get the best of response, the best possible response, and to build a very good relationship. Professional communication is not optional. It's not optional. So you need to write like a graduating professional. So thank you very much if you have been able to watch up to this point, and if this video was helpful, do well to like, share, comments, engage, subscribe, and ask questions. So cheers, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.